AITA for not letting my mother see my partially blind daughter after an incident that left my daughter injured? I'm not sure if this makes me an asshole, but I have to get this out somewhere and find out what others think. My mother is no longer allowed to see my daughter, her granddaughter, except for on holidays when I am present and around her. This is the result of an incident that took place the last time that I let my daughter go hang out with her grandmother for the day while I worked in the office instead of from my home office. You see, my daughter is blind in her left eye, making certain tasks in her life a lot more difficult than for the average child. I typically work from home because of this, and that can cause strain at work because it seems like my productivity is lower or that I am able to get away with things that my coworkers cannot just because I am out of view. Because of this, I like to work in the office every chance I get, hence why I would send my daughter with her grandmother. However, this time, when I let my daughter go hang out with my mother, her slightly older and more sinister cousins were there. The rest of the story is from the perspective of my daughter, who retold it to me in the hospital a few hours afterwards. My daughter was playing with one of the cousins at the top of a small hill that my mother has in her country backyard. This was when one of the sinister older cousins decided that he wanted to do something funny, and he pushed my daughter down the small hill. My daughter doesn't remember much from the minute or so before the fall, but she assumes he snuck up from her left side, where she is blind and would not be able to see anything but potentially his shadow. This left my daughter with a concussion after her head hit the hard dirt below the hill and several cuts all across her skin. Though this is obviously not the worst injury that could have occurred, it still landed my blind child in the hospital to be checked out for any significant damages to her head or her brain. If my mother had only been watching all of her grandchildren like she had told me she would, it is likely that she would have been able to shut down the plan of my nephews before anyone got hurt. However, she was on a call with one of her friends in the kitchen and didn't do anything to watch the children. Is provoking her right to see my daughter except for when they are both in my vicinity cruel? Does that make me an asshole?